guys and a microphone. Two bald guys and a microphone. Two bald guys and a microphone. Two bald guys and a microphone. Hello, we're back, and some people been wondering where we've been. It don't matter, cause right now it's happening. Same station, new day and time slot. Content forever is flowing, we won't stop. Providing remedies for chemical brain freeze. And teaching reboot, stressing you believe. We're two bald guys and a microphone. We're glad to be back, it feels good to be home.
Welcome in. We are two bald guys and a microphone now. Almost two bald guys and a microphone. Anyway, shout out to our good friends over at Natural Therapy Wellness Center, www.mchenrymassage.com. Of course, John and his team are fantastic. If you are stressed, they will help you be blessed. Massage therapy, reflexology, acupuncture, Thai yoga massage, all that good stuff. Absolutely fantastic team over there. Check them out. Let them know you heard about them right here on 216. And hey, also a shout out to our good friends at JH Events and Flowers. If you have flowers, if you have a man cave, a she shed, anything of that nature, check them out, jheventsandflowers.com. Now, two great locations, one here in McHenry and the other in Fox Lake, right across from the train station. So good stuff. Listen, today we're going to be talking about the Dreamquest Part 2. Coach kind of came up with this from MapQuest. Now, you may be asking where Coach is. He's not here right now. That's why you don't see him. Not feeling well this morning, but we've got a special guest on the way in, another bald guy. So hang tight, and we'll be right there. Now, last night, I also had the opportunity to go to Ken. Ken and 216 Creator Studios are a great partnership. That's Kids in Need of McHenry County. Here's what they did. They did something pretty cool, and I'll share this QR code up here in a second. If you can scan it, awesome. If not, just go to kinmc.org. That's KINMC.org. But last night was a ribbon cutting for the bridge. The Bridge is a free children's clothing store located at 4410 Route 176, Unit 7 in Crystal Lake. They supply clothes, hygiene products, bedding, diapers, socks, and much, much more to children in need in our community. Here's the other bald guy coming in. That's great. They do just great stuff. It's a cool store for kids in need. So whatever it is, hygiene, whatever, go to the Bridge because stuff's free. Here, I'll just put that QR code up there if I can. If you can scan that, cool. If not, just go to kinmc.org. The other thing is spread the kindness. Even though the clothes are free, it's not free to work there. It does cost money. There are things that happen. So there are sponsorship opportunities, $5,000, $2,500, $366. So there's some great ways to sponsor the Bridge and Ken for kids in transition from like foster home and whatnot. So it's really, really cool. Morning, Demond. How are you?
Good morning.
What's the good word other than everybody drives slow on a Wednesday morning during spring break?
Not much, but hip hop on my mind all the time. Every time you said the Bridge, it made me think of Boogie Down Productions.
Oh, yeah.
KRS-One.
That's right. Come on, that goes back a ways.
Yeah.
That goes back a ways. And of course, playing the part of the other bald guy today, Damon K. Ross. Good to have you, brother.
Good morning.
How are things? Good?
Yeah. Enjoying spring break.
Nice and cold and wet and rainy. And that's always right.
I don't have to get up and drive in the morning, except for today.
That's right. You and John doing anything? Nothing? Just hanging out?
Yeah, just hanging out. Yeah, I was going to take him out to work on some stuff for track because they're starting track after spring break, but kind of nasty out. So
give him a week off.
we have to skip it. Yeah.
That's it. Nice. Well, hey, Jen Krejci, good morning. Glad to have you with us. Our good friend, Drew Cappuccino. Good morning. Good morning. We've been talking about Dreamquest. I don't know if you caught last week. But Coach, he's had this concept. If you could just punch in like into AI or something and say, I want to be, this is my dream. My dream is, and you could punch it in and get a roadmap for it.
Okay.
Right. Would it be easier to achieve your dreams? Would it be harder to achieve your dreams? Would you stay on course?
I think it depends on the individual, honestly. But for the most part, I think if it comes from you and you're the one that puts pen to paper,
yeah,
I think it would do better for you and it would drive you more versus if it's coming from some other source.
Yeah. And I think, I'll be 55 in July, right? So double nickels, and I'm still chasing my dream.
Yeah.
So at 20 years old, if I had to punch that into the Dreamquest and it said, hey, you ain't going to even be there at 55. I might have gone, maybe I'll stop. Because, back then that was a long, long time, right? And I think a lot of my mic's super hot. I'm going to go turn it down a little bit. But I think a lot of it, like even on your GPS, when you're going someplace, you're like, no, I know a better way.
Yep.
You're like, I can beat this.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So what is it in human nature? You deal with people a lot. You coach people. What is it in human nature that makes us go, I got a better way?
People just have a real skepticism of other things, I think, is a part of it. And a lot of it, we get burned sometimes, or we have experiences with other people that don't necessarily go our way. So it creates a skepticism, and our brains are naturally designed to keep us safe. And so we're always looking at what is the potential danger in something that's outside of me.
So then we say, I'm going to do it my way, or right? I mean, because I can inevitably own any GPS or Dreamquest, right? If I punched it in and it said, hey, here's what you need to do. Step one, step like baking a cake, right? Mm-hmm. You have a recipe, basically a recipe for success,
right?
For at 20 years old, what you deem success, right? I would have had the poster that had the 6-car garage with the Lambos, and you know what I mean? Yeah. We all had that one, right? The little sunset, because that would have been success to me. Nothing in there about happiness, but right. So at 20, that was my dream. That I would have gone, I know a faster way to get there.
Right.
I know a better way to get there.
Yeah.
Right. And regardless, I don't care who you are, prove me wrong. That when you jump in your car and you punch in that GPS and it says 1 hour and 20 minutes, you're like, I gotta get there in 1:15.
Absolutely.
Right. I don't care what, you head down to Florida, it's like 24 hours. I get there in 23.
Absolutely. Well, and then the other thing too, is we often can see those roadblocks that are not going to show up on a map that's put to us through, GPS or Chat GPT or whatever the case may be. So we in real time can see different obstacles and can make alterations. Particularly with the GPS, those shortcuts and they're just not designed. They're designed to take you on the most known roads, the most traveled, roads.
Right.
And so, those are opportunities for us. But when you've examined the landscape, which we can do in reality, you can't do on, on other platforms. You can do that in reality. Once you've done that, then you know what some of the other avenues are. And you can travel those. And
like a recipe, hey, if you don't get it exactly right, a teaspoon of this, a cup of this, you go, man, a little more than a cup.
Right.
Sometimes those mistakes that you make it even better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to a person's dream, when it comes to their reality, when it comes to fighting for something, is I believe I believe that the journey, right, is more important than the finish line.
Yeah.
Right. As I said, I'm 55, and if the lottery were to get up to 200 billion or whatever, 5 billion, because I don't play unless it's like billions of dollars. That's why I know I'll never win. Your chances are horrible at that point. But you get that.
They really don't change, but we'll talk about that.
You get that ticket,
yeah.
right? And you're like, all the good. I take the lump sum. Here's what I do. I give you some. I give you some. I do this. I do this. I do this. And it gives you that brief moment to just dream.
Mm-hmm.
Get lost in a fantasy world kind of a thing, right? And then it's like, damn it, I didn't even get one number. Right? Not even one, and so you get nothing, and it's just that brief moment of the ability to dream.
Yeah, I
think that energizes people. I think that allows people to say there's something more out there for me.
Mm-hmm.
How do you work with adults? How do you work with our listeners? How do you work with people that go, "It's just work hard, dreaming. If you guys are dumb." They've been so soured in life that they can't stay humble. They can't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just let them be. I want to work with the people that are dreaming, so the ones that say that it's really hard, like this is tough, life is tough, but I know there's better out there. Yeah. Those are people I can work with. The people that are like, that's just all, but I'm not going to waste my energy trying to convince them otherwise, because they've convinced themselves of something. Yeah,
I had the ability to work with a bunch of women, coached basketball at the college level, and it's interesting, right? You played college ball, there was never a game where you said, "This one's, I'm not even going to try it today. This is going to be."
Absolutely, yeah, right. No, of course not,
right. And so as a coach, I'm like, man, we come in here at the right, we got we're gonna get it. I know they're better than us in my mind, but I'm like, we got this.
There's always a way.
Yeah. And so I watched a team, that went 8-22. Right, it was a tough season. Mm-hmm. We just didn't have enough dogs in a fight. Right, we had 7 people on the team. You can't play a 30-game season with 7 people, right? No. But then there was, you saw either on the way to the game, in the locker room, or something, a better percentage of the team is like, here we go. Yeah. Because they were tired, they were worn, they were beaten, right? But I don't understand that. Right. And if you're listening out there, help me out, is I don't understand how you can be beaten down so hard that you lose the ability to dream. You lose the ability to desire something.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
What's interesting is you bringing this up. I was at a professional development training a couple of weeks ago, and the guy who was facilitating, one of the people asking that question is like, what do I do? I've got a group of people that just, like, they resist everything, everything's a problem. And he said, well, at some point, you just have to get to the point where you ignore them. And, kind of like, what? He said, in every group, and he referenced this article. I can't remember the person that wrote it, but it was called Gangsters, Wanksters, and Riders. And so he said the gangsters are the people that they're going to resist no matter what. They're going to kind of, bully people or just do their thing. Then you have the wanksters. Those are people that they're not one way or the other. They're not all the way in. They're not all the way out. They're just kind of on the fence. And then you have the riders. Those are the people that are with the vision. They're going with you. Yeah. He said your attention should be on the riders and the wanksters, because you can, you have a better chance to pull them off of the fence. Yeah. And the more of those people that you get, and you just say, hey, for those of you that are with me, thank you, appreciate it, I'm working with you, we're going to make this happen, and you roll with those people. And what tends to happen is once you do that, things start shifting to the point where the gangsters realize, like, oh my God, this is benefiting me, and then some of them will come over. So your focus should be on the ones that are with you and the ones that are not sure but kind of leaning, and those other people, like, they'll figure it out and come along. But your energy has to go where you're going to get the most.
Yeah.
And so that's where
like that.
you focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lisa, good morning, says that I was told I'm a dreamer and life is only for realists. I think life is for sour people. Right? Here's why is the word dream, right? And that's what Coach and I talked about a little bit too, was the word dream scares a lot of adults. Oh, you know, I think and I feel, you know, I dream all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and I get lost in ideas. I get lost in concepts. Anybody who works with me knows that. Jen's known me for a long time. You know, and I get lost on brush strokes as I'm painting this picture of my life, and some of these brush strokes mean nothing. Right. You know, but and Drew works with me very closely every day. But you know, I can go down rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Dreaming, envisioning
every little detail
with the what if, right?
Yeah.
And then when it's done, it's like, well, that's it. Right. And people kind of look at me like, what? I was like, I don't know, just enjoyed that vision. Wouldn't it be cool?
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's do something about it. Yeah. I'm hustling on this side of things, you know. And I do that all the time. And you know, a lot of times the people who work with me and know me very well, you know, like, hey, come back, focus. You know? Yeah. Drew will say we've got he's come up with a 1, 1, and 1. You know, do one thing one way for 1 year. It tries to keep me on path, right? Because I'm like, pew, 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 pew. And that's just where my mind goes, right? My mind is, you know, I try to, you know, and every day that you know, at the end of the day, I can look in the mirror and go, hey, good day here. Well, it was a weird day, or didn't do anything today, you slob.
Yeah.
You know? Go on a diet. Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you separate like dreamers from reality, like they really are saying, like, everybody's a dreamer, whether they admit it or not. Everybody's a dreamer. And so when people talk about coming to reality, like that's not a slap in the face of a dreamer. Yes, we do need to come into reality because that's where the groundwork is going to be laid in order for us to get to the point where what we're dreaming becomes the reality. But you have to have those in order to give your current life, your current situation, a purpose. Like, what am I doing this for? You know, hopefully there's something. Otherwise, you become apathetic and life just becomes dull and boring. Yeah. And that's not what we're looking for.
Well, right. And then as you go through life, you get, you know, a little too much, you know, a little too much flour in the cake. And what I mean by that is maybe you have a kid, you know, or maybe you move somebody into your house that, you know, a nephew or a niece or something like that. And that adds a different twist to that dream. Right.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily make it worse. Doesn't necessarily make it better. Just it means that, hey, you got a little too, you know, it's not going to sit the same as the rest of it.
Right. It's a little different wrinkle that you have to adjust to. But again, the dreams don't have to die because of that. Yeah. You just have to alter your course.
So if I were to ask everybody out there listening, if you were a dreamer, if you consider yourself a dreamer, if I were to ask you, what is your dream? What would you say? If I were to ask you, what is your dream? What would you say?
My dream is to be able to help millions of people change their status in life and accomplish their dreams.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. You didn't have to think about that too much. Let's see what Jen says. Jen says, I always ask, what did I learn and take away from the experience? That I would not have gotten if I never looked down that path of that rabbit hole or road or job. You're finding out your preferences for life. Yeah. That's what I mean. You know, sometimes some of the best mistakes, you know, I put a pinch extra of salt in there. Man, did it make the flavor pop. I think so. People ask me, I'm like, listen, my dream in life is to build a life that I never have to retire from. Right. And to help as many people achieve their dreams as possible.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's as weird as that sounds. That's, people, I'm like, listen, I decided not to buy into the American dream of work until you're 60 and then retire. I'm like, if you can build a life where you can have fun and make money, why don't you do it until you're 120?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm blessed to be able to kind of be in that spot in my life where, hey, there's been other points in my life where I've had a lot more money and I've made a lot more money.
Yeah.
But I had a lot more stress, didn't enjoy life. I was a dick to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right. But now I've created a life where, I work my own calendar. I don't have to show up to an office and sit in a banker's office for 8 hours or 10 hours or 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. If one of my kids has something, I can go be part of it. If one of my friends says, hey, let's do this. Yesterday, I was able to start the day off at home and work remotely from my home office, and then meet Drew for lunch. We had a lunch appointment. Well, the guy was coming from the city. Ahmad, love you. And because of the rain and everything, he was about an hour and a half late. Just traffic, as you know. And so then we had a great meeting with him, but I was able, because I'm not punching a clock or doing whatever. Right. I was able to take that time then, right? And Drew and I could vision on some things, work on some things for 216 Creator Studios. Ahmed shows up, and man, well, there we go, right? Mm-hmm. And now we're into the meeting. And then went to give a bid to a potential client, and then went from there to the ribbon cutting for the bridge. Go home. My daughter and Tana Koss, the trainer at the college, show up. My wife and Lucy are at her parents' house for spring break, so it was a cool day, right? All the way up. And then I'm like, all right, let's go. I get to see them on tomorrow. Here we go, So a lot of people have time to make the donuts, right. Their dream is gone, So I don't know what my end dream looks like. So this Dreamquest to me is foreign. Good morning, Shannon. Because I don't know what my dream life is. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I guess the end,
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, and should there really be an end to it? Right. Because that's when you die. That's when people look at back in the day when people would retire, and you hear about all these stories of people dying a few months after they retire. It's because it's it for them. Yep. So I don't think our dream should ever end or die. And I love what you said about your dream being able to have the ability to, do certain things based on your time and the freedom with the time. Yeah. And saying there were times where you had more money. Yep. But that wasn't the life for you. Well, that wasn't the dream. Well, I'm sure more purses and shoes and all that. I'm just kidding. But it's when a lot of people shoot down or scoff at dreams, their idea is limited to the things and having the big houses and the cars and the vacations and all of that stuff. And that represents material things, but that doesn't necessarily represent a dream lifestyle for a person, because lifestyle is not about the things you have, but the quality of the life. So I think if more people would shed that, traditional thought of dreams being an accumulation of stuff, people would probably, take a different approach or a different thought process to, how they would like to go about getting dreams and how they think about dreams in general. Yeah.
One of the dreams is to make DDOE Enterprises Inc. massive. So somebody walks in and gives us a huge check, and we go, okay, here you go, thanks, all yours now. Right, appreciate you. And with that said, like, subscribe, share out there. And if you're looking to sponsor a show, we've got the opportunities. You could just sponsor an episode. So if you love Two Bald Guys and a Microphone, you could just talk to us. Send it to info@216thenet.com, info@216thenet.com, and just put sponsorship in the subject. And if you just feel moved, you're like, man, I really love what Two Bald Guys and a Microphone's doing. I want to sponsor a show. We're going to give you a shout out. We're going to do all that good stuff. So,
absolutely.
I mean, we cash, check, Venmo, whatever. We don't care.
So
it all expensive. That's my dream. My dream is to have you sponsor. Brought to you by the letter G. All right. So with Dream, with the Dreamquest, he gets Coach came up with it from MapQuest. You remember MapQuest for the older people? That was before GPS, where of course we can't have a phone on or anything like that, but we had 6 pages printed out on our dot matrix thing. You're going through it, like turn. I was supposed to turn that.
Those were the days.
While we were driving with our knee and going through our CD 3-ring binder as well to find the right CD to play. We weren't distracted at all. Not at all. Shayna says, I just watched a retirement video that was promoting doing it as soon as possible. What would I do is common. I talk about that. My dad's 82, going to be 82, or he is 82. And he's still working, right? He retired at quote unquote 70, right? 3 months later, he's like, I got to go back to work. And I'm like, Dad, you should be enjoying life. He goes, I do enjoy life. He says, but I've been working since I was a little kid, since I was like 6, had a paper route, worked in my dad's grocery store. I did this. And he starts going through stuff. He goes, all I know how to do is work. Yeah. So that's who I am. I'm like, oh, okay.
I had a former coworker like that. He can't sit still.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing at all.
Because it's part-time or what. I mean, he's a preacher, right? So it's part-time, and he people have him come in and do services, those things. Auto Club Road Atlas. Absolutely. 18-inch. I know that thing was huge. And you're like,
yeah.
What state are we in? Missouri. Turn that page. How do we get, hey, there's a toll up here. They always had the tolls on there too back in the day.
Yeah, but it's interesting about finding work. Because I remember my dad used to talk about that. So I forget how many years ago it was, but my mom retired like 20-something years ago. She's in her 50s. Yeah, when she retired, and she always said, as long as I get a check with my name on it, I don't have to work. Right. So she had a retirement check. But my dad always talked about like, oh, I don't want to retire. I like working, So that was his idea. And then he's working for the Ford Motor Company in St. Louis. And so when the plant shut down and they ended up leaving, he ended up taking early retirement. And I remember, I don't know how long, like maybe 6 months or so into it, he was like, man, I don't know what I was thinking. I love retirement. But he did find something. So he became really involved with the church. And so he did find something else to do, right. But you can find something. Like you don't have to work for.
Yeah, I mean, but that's right. As entrepreneurs, it's.
Oh yeah, absolutely, I mean, absolutely.
You're an entrepreneur. You also work for a school district, right? And you don't want to be 80 years old working for a school district.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I get that, but you're an entrepreneur, and what you do and how you help. If you want to change that many people's lives, is that your dream? You're going to do it till they throw dirt on you. Right? Absolutely. And that's the brilliant thing about it, right? But not only that, with your dream, it goes on. I mean, you've got recordings, you've got videos, you know what I'm saying? So long after you're gone, you're still going to be helping people get there.
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, that's the legacy part of it. What does Lisa say? Lisa says, I'll be working until lunch break on my funeral day for survival. But I hope to have made my my part-time work my full-time work and not have to, pay the bills, the job anymore. Yeah, absolutely. And agreed, Shana. My dad was able to retire at 55, and within a year was in a very deep depression. Right? Oh, Shana must have said something up here. Oh, here it was. I skipped it. Sorry, Shana. She says so much of a man's identification is tied to what they do. There's a really cool documentary on Netflix, The Blue Zones. Have you seen this? The Blue Zones. It's a really cool documentary. This guy goes around the world, and what he goes to countries where the average age is like 102 or over 100 years old that people were, and there's a lot of commonalities in the lifestyles, right? And in these blue zones, they really don't retire. People do the same stuff all the time, and what they found is for the long life is you don't when people retire, their identity is put into that job. Hey, who are you? Oh, I'm an engineer. I'm a right. Yeah. Everybody, I'm a teller. I'm a banker. I'm a this. I'm a that. So nobody's like, hey, I'm a child of God. I'm the son of Tom Jones. It's like, oh, I'm a carpenter.
Right.
So they attach their identity. The countries and areas on this is really cool, where the lifespan is over 100. There's 105-year-old people that are walking and active and doing things, right? And what happens is, once you lose that identity, that's where everything starts to slip and slide. Look at this. Shay, good morning. It has been a while. Glad to see you. Of course, the Sasanos, the old host of Slang and Hope. Hey, been watching you. It looks like you got a good racer down there, Shay. Keep doing what you're doing and keep being positive and bringing people. I mean, that's a great dream too, helping as many people to sobriety and living clean. Absolutely love you. Thanks for jumping on. It's definitely a big transition. Yeah, it is. What Sal says, people define their lives by the work that they morph into. Until you can't work, then you have to find a new path to feel useful, relevant, wanted. And let's stop there for a second. Is that because I lost track of my dream? I'm not sure what my dream is. Or my dream was to be a successful engineer, and I was. That old saying, a goal achieved no longer motivates.
Yeah, and then that's what I was talking about earlier about you don't want that dream to be the final destination. You always want to keep reinventing it. That's interesting.
But everybody says you always wake up from a dream.
Oh, do you?
Do you? Yeah, do you? Shay says, I'll never retire. I'm a workaholic. I love working and working with people. Yeah. And here I was at the ribbon cutting yesterday. Talking with a dear friend, a good friend of the station, who is in sales and leadership, stuff like that. And it's funny because that energy that you give to people all day, and then you get into a big crowded ribbon cutting thing, you're just like, I don't want people anymore, right? I jokingly say I love everybody and hate them equally. God's got a sense of humor because I work with people and I love inspiring people and bringing out the best of people and giving them hope and helping them achieve their dreams. Yeah. And I absolutely hate them all at the same time.
I used to not be able to relate to that. I can now.
Yeah, that's it. In a good way, though, right? I mean, but now I guess what I've learned along the way on this path on my dream is, okay, it's time for me to shut that energy down.
Yeah,
because I don't need the people right now. That's what Alice always says. Like, ooh, you don't need the people right now, do you? And let's see. Lisa says. Yeah, my dad was a career Navy, so his identity was always about military. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we could say that about Coach. You know, coach,
Yeah.
he still talks about the Army.
Yep.
You know, he's been in there for 30 years, retired. And that's a lot of it. They drill that into you, quote unquote. Sorry. It's toxic programming to connect one's value to output. So true.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what we learn, right?
Yeah.
From day one. Oh, we celebrate the little thing. Yay! You know, great job. You got 100% on your spelling test. Do they even spelling tests? I don't know.
You know, I don't.
Right.
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? So we're the narrative here in America. What I have to say in America is we reward that, not the attempt. Like, dang, good try. It's like, yeah, you did it.
Yeah.
Right? And then unfortunately, because we don't know how to really put our own dream into vision, we try to live it through our kids.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
a lot of people.
You got to do. Come on, you get in this, get involved in this. You know, and then I'm yelling at referees and parents and teenage kids who are umpires because I want my kid to be, you know, the best or whatever, because I wasn't. Yeah, the splash from a dream, you know what I'm saying, is weird.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, what I mean is, like, you drop that rock into your dream bucket, and where it splashes is, you know, the splatter is weird, and how it gets on people. Right. That could be an interesting topic right there. Lisa says, I don't know my dream specifics. It used to bother me a lot. Like, you know, I had to find it. I kind of decided to go the let go and let God theory take over. I'm only responsible to be aware of what gets placed in front of me and trust. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too, right? And is that time? Is that enough scars? Is that enough bumps where you're like, I don't know, I'm just gonna keep chasing this thing, but I don't care. Is that wisdom? I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's more about the scars than the time, because people who reach that point at different different points in their life. I think it's more about getting to that point of being sick or tired and sick and tired.
Yeah.
And that can happen at any point in time. I've worked with a guy who he always talks about hitting your rock bottom, and everybody's rock bottom is different.
Sure.
And everybody's rock bottom may not be as tragic as another person's, but what is your rock bottom? So, and everybody's is a different point. Yeah. So I think it's when that happens is when we get to the point where we, you know, start surrendering a little bit more and stop trying to control everything and just living life.
Devon, a middle child?
Absolutely.
The chill is palpable. I'm the baby. I bet you never guess that. Sal says, I always say when asked, how are you? What are you doing? I answer, living the dream, somebody's dream. I'm blessed. Yeah. You know what? And a lot of people be like, or nightmare, you know, but then you're placing that seed in there, right?
It's still, yeah.
And that's a tough thing. And then he's like, wet? What is it? Does that say wet? What?
Looks like it's.
I don't know. Okay. So to me, I don't ever want to. I try to protect people's dreams.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
I don't know what your dream is, but I want to get excited about your dream because that's your dream.
Okay.
So as I'm recruiting players to come play at college, as I'm on the tour of the college with everybody, I start talking. I said, listen, I'm here and I'm talking to this 17, 18, 19-year-old young woman. And I'm like, I'm here to help you achieve your dream. And they and their parents kind of look at me. I said, listen, I've got a player right now. She's absolutely fantastic. The best talent that I've ever been blessed to coach. Matter of fact, I never thought I'd coach somebody as good as she is. And her dream is to play in Europe. She wants to play across seas professionally. And I said, okay, what do we have to do? And she goes, well, I really want to go to a historically Black college and play, D1, D2. Okay, let me help you. So I start reaching out to those colleges and whatnot. And she wants to go south, get out of Illinois, Chicago area, go south. And I start helping her along by making contacts and she's down in Miami right now, taking a look at Barry. She's taking a look at St. Thomas, Division twos, and then Elkhorn State, Division one, right?
Steve McNair.
Yeah, right. And so I will be blessed to be able to say I was part of your journey and I helped you along the way. Now, I don't know if she's going to go to any ones that I reached out to, but it's my job to try to help them achieve their dream. I also have another player, just incredibly talented, beautiful young lady. And I'm like, hey, what is your dream? She goes, shakes her head and giggles. I'm like, no. What is your dream? She goes, my dream is I want to live on a tropical island and be a housewife. And I am like, that is the best dream that I have ever heard. I go, let's make it happen. She kind of looked at me and not with me.
Right.
I said, but let's make that happen. So my job then started looking at colleges and things in the warmer climates, in the tropical areas, Hawaii, things like that. And she's like, I didn't know. I go, I know. Right. But if that's your dream, first of all, coolest dream I've ever heard, right? Life's good, right? That is like a total fins up. I'll be a housewife and chill on the beach.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
No, that's cool. I do the same thing, with our students. If they tell me something that they're interested in or want to do, okay, let's talk to your therapist. Let's talk to your homeroom teachers. Let's figure out how to make that happen, or the people that work in our transition program to help kids find jobs. Did you talk to them? Have you told them yet? Oh, hey, such and such told me they're interested in this. Have they said something to you yet? Oh, no, they didn't. Go talk to them. I told them you can help them. Like,
now
I get excited about that too.
Listen, but I'm still the same guy who watches out for Kent, because I'm like, listen, when you're a pro and you're playing over in Italy, send tickets. Give me I want to be front row. But I don't want to pay for it. Hey, you're gonna be a housewife down on top of, I'm gonna call you. Go to have a guest room for me. My family. We're gonna come down, right? I want to be part of it. Absolutely. Lisa says, did I already read that one? No.
Nope.
My life changed so drastically that I spent years fighting to get back to where it was, which was impossible. So I had to quit battling. I like that. Quit battling upstream in order to survive life. Life changed. I need to change. Yeah. I mean, you're going along with that recipe, and all of a sudden you realize you ain't got brown sugar. You're like, well, let's try white sugar or cane sugar or
stevia,
right? Let's try something, right? So the phases of retirement are the go, the slow go, and the no-go. Plan accordingly. That's pretty good too.
I like that.
Yep. Lisa then says, Kent, sometimes our steps or work aren't the reason we made the difference. The belief in them and the support of what allowed them to do it. Yes, I mean, it's amazing to see parents' reactions when I'm not telling their kids that their dreams are weird. Like, hey, buckle down, buddy, and you're going to get a good job as a lab assistant.
Yeah.
Come back to reality here, right? No. I'm like, you go get it. It all takes work. Nothing's free in life, right? I mean, it takes work. But yeah, the look on their faces, because a lot of times at this point in their life, this is the first time an adult has said, I'm here to support your dream. And they may have had it, right? Their coaches, hey, we'll get you, but it's work. They're looking at it as work. But then when you're like, hey man, I'll help you get there.
Yeah.
And I'm blessed. And listen, if you haven't watched the Dave Chappelle, his latest one, the ending of that, just watch the last 10 minutes of that, where he's talking about dreams. That makes you go,
yeah, right.
And I've shared it several times. But to me, one of that, that made me go, oh,
yeah, he has a way of doing that.
Yeah, brilliant. And let's see, Shana says, don't you love it when you vocalize an idea and others start appearing to give just the tip or the boost you need? Yeah. Yeah. No, the people say you throw it out there in the universe and it'll come back to you, manifest all that good stuff.
Yep.
Right. And you don't get Lisa on manifestation. Yeah. Anyway. Hey, and no, Lisa's not on this week. It's Easter, so we're going to spend some time with the families on Sunday morning. So no living outside the box. No, let me tell you something, brother. Either this week, let me tell you something, brother. Will probably be on Tuesday evening. So just so everybody knows. Yeah. It is amazing. It is amazing. It's like these hashtag pocket computers where, I was playing a game, and I forget what, you had to write one word. Everybody writes one word, and then the person tries to guess what it is. And it might have been Pony or something, the name, right? And I put shoes, right? And the next thing you know, I'm starting to get Pony. Remember the old ponies back in the day?
Yeah.
Property of New York. It stood for, right? Property of New York. I think or produced. Yeah, I don't know. Something of New York. And now I'm like, I'm getting Converse like weapons and old school shoes. I'm like, man, they know I'm a sucker. I'm like,
yeah,
maybe I should get some ponies. What would I need to get ponies. And it's that way when you're working on something. Man, I tell you, a lot of people talk to me. A lot of people talk to Drew. Talk to Mike, the owners of the station here, and when I tell them some of the people that I've met, some of the people I've had the joy of having conversations with. I mean, like pinch me moments, like what, right? When we were out at NAMM in January, Drew and I were sitting around rock legends, right? People that we listened to on our cassettes and our Chevettes back in the day, and we're just like, Eddie Martinez, lead guitarist for Run DMC. I'm like, dude, King of Rock. You know how many times I blew that out? Oh my God, and I'm just like. And I'm just sitting here trying to be chill, trying to be cool, like, do the interview and recording notes, all this stuff, and trying to be cool, And inside I'm doing backflips, like holy shit, yeah. Bob Berg. I've had the opportunity to have conversations with Bob Berg. And people are like, I'm like, he's the author of The Go-Giver. That's really how we form this business. You help 5, you get 10. You help 10, you get 20. You just give. And people like DeMonte Ross, you tell people like, hey, I sat next to DeMonte Ross today. They're like, what? I'm like,
who is that?
Yeah. Who? How do you spell that? Yeah. But it makes me realize along this path in my dream as I'm chasing this dream, that if you would have said that in my Dreamquest, so I would have printed that out, Damon, back when I was 22, I'd have been there, ain't no way.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'd have been
right.
There. I mean, Tom Ziegler. I've had conversations with Tom Ziegler, Zig Ziglar's son. I'm like, nah, ain't no way. Ain't no way.
Yeah.
Hey, you're going to go into business with the mayor of Tustin, California. Ain't no way. I did, right? And I probably wouldn't have chased it. I mean, I'm from Iowa.
Right. Is that really possible?
I'll just go to work at the grain factory. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think had I known and printed out the Dreamquest and had a look at it, I probably wouldn't have chased it. It would have been too big of a piece of cake. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'd have been like, ain't no way.
Yeah.
Ain't no way. Right?
Yeah, you're right. I remember coming out of college, I was like, man, I just want to find a job and I'll be cool.
Yeah.
Job and place to live, I'm good.
All good. Yeah.
I'm good. So yeah, it is amazing, what can happen.
So I think we found Poppin' Fresh Pie back in the day off Harlem, right?
What is that?
What?
What is that?
Poppin' Fresh Pie. It's now Baker Square.
Oh, okay.
It used to be called Poppin' Fresh Pie back in the day. greatest strawberry pie you ever had, right? And we were coming home from Michigan, and something happened. We need gas or whatever. We made a wrong turn. We ended up on Harlem. There's a white family from Iowa, here in town. It's not a bad neighborhood, but for white people from Iowa, you're like, holy heavens. And we stopped in. We were hungry, so instead of getting a Clark bar or something from the gas station, we went and got it's called Poppin' Fresh Pie. So let's go in and get pie.
Okay.
Best pie. And then every time coming home from Michigan, we made it. You know what I mean? Hey, we could stop at Poppin' Fresh Pie, right? And that's so sometimes the mistakes and getting off of that Dreamquest directions is sometimes better because you get a taste of something different. You get a little spice in the life that if you knew exactly the steps to take all the time, I think human nature, you'd still push outside of it. But let's see. I read that one. All right, so Shane is right here. I commend anyone that can hold space for another's dream without positive negativity. I'm this close. Hormones are responsible for moving the overthinking brain. Life is a risk. Yeah. And that kind of goes back to what you said earlier in the show, is like, hey, our brains want to protect us.
Yeah.
Right.
At all costs.
And if I knew, if I could print out the directions to what I deem as successful, then maybe I go, that's too dangerous for me. I'm going to live in Illinois. Chicago, it's scary. Right.
Yeah.
So I think not knowing and not being able to punch it in, I think that's a good thing. Right. We've all heard of the freak athletes whose parents are like, oh no, man, they haven't eaten a Big Mac. They're on a regiment, kind of like Tiger Woods type thing, right? Where it's like, hey, get out there. You're 3 years old, work on your backswing. And then their dream may not have been that. Right. But this is the dream that they're chasing. Right. I don't know if Tiger's dream, I haven't had the ability to sit with Tiger, but Tiger, you're welcome anytime. Anytime. But I don't know if that was his dream. I want to be the best to ever swing a club. Well, it's like, remember the story of, was it Ty Marinovich? Yeah. The quarterback? Yeah. Remember that? And it turned out to be a tragic story because he didn't love football the way his dad loved football. Not even close. I mean, he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Yeah. I mean, it was a big thing back in the day. It was a high school phenom, all of that. But that's it. Hey, look at this guy. Good morning from Singapore, Gary. How are you, brother? Glad to have you with us. Gary. Just an interesting fact, Gary. I think the captain of the ship that hit the bridge yesterday was from Singapore. Do you know him? I know. Look, everybody's like, "Hey, Gary!" Hey, I don't know if you know. I don't know if you know the captain. I don't know. Anyway, it's like, "Hey, you from Iowa? Oh, do you know? Right. Do you know? When's your birthday? It's in July. I know somebody's got a birthday in July. That's great. Thanks for sharing. He says, "No, I don't know." All right. I was just checking because I said I talk about Gary. There's another guy, right? Yeah. Part of the dream right there. This guy is I talk about Singapore. I talk about Gary a lot. Blessed to have this guy cross our path and miss him, and glad that you're here. Yeah, hopefully the family's healthy and you're good. But he's been a supporter for a long time. Forever. Since the beginning. Yeah. From back at the WHIW days. Harvard, Illinois days. Yep. But I think, I think that is the beauty of what we do as we chase a dream, the ability to not know, right? The ability, how many dreams have you had where you woke up and go, man, if I could have slept 5 more minutes. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I was almost there, and I think, all the way back, WHIW. That's it. I don't know why she gave you a black heart. That's weird. Anyway, All right. But I love what Coach says. How cool would it be? But as I kept thinking about it over the last couple of weeks, I'm like, I wouldn't have chased after it. I wouldn't have done anything.
Yeah, I don't think most people would.
I would not.
I think people would like the idea of someone else mapping it out.
Right.
But the actual work to get there is like, is there an app for that?
Absolutely. Coming into, filing bankrupt because you got a business that failed. I'd have looked at it and go, I ain't gonna go over there.
Yeah.
I am not.
Right.
No way. Sale says, my dream is to win a huge mega ball and the Powerball to start foundations to fund and support many nonprofits from the interest earned that are doing incredible work in the communities of need. Yeah. Listen, Sal, DDOE is a nonprofit. I mean, it's not by choice. So when you win that, remember, we are not profiting. But we're doing great things. You just make that out to DDOE. Those are the letters. You don't have to spell it out. It's red on, at least it says it's red on her screen. All right. Well, I don't know. Lisa says, my belief is we had a dream before we came here, and all these things that happen guide us. There are force us to learn the past. That blockade, what? I don't know. Where there force us to learn past. Push past blockades. I guess. Yeah. I mean, if you have the Akashic records, whatever you believe in, when you're up there, the red tap shoes can never go wrong with those. They were Gator too, buddy, by the way. Is it, it is written in your book of life. Yeah. But the inability to know the ending, I think, is so important, because life's not a problem to be solved. It's an adventure to be lived. But there are so many people out there today trying to solve it, mm-hmm. instead of just live it and enjoy the adventure.
Yeah.
Right. And then when you look back and go, whoa, that was cool.
Yeah.
Right. And then so much of us, because we think that it's a problem to be solved, is I'm going to just put my kids right under my arm so they don't get any scars, mm-hmm. right? Helicopter, lawnmower, whatever, sprinkler parents, whatever dance move you want to go on. Let's see. Gary says, our dreams or goals in life do allow us to make choices. And sometimes those choices give us opportunities to cross paths with other on their choices in life. That's the beauty and mystery of life. I agree. Mm-hmm. I wholeheartedly agree with that. That's because New Age Love and Light says you struggle because you did something wrong and said something wrong. Well, karma, right? But I don't know. We grew up at a time where you want to be a unicorn, a puppy dog, a man, a woman, whatever. We really don't care. Are you a good person? That's the era we grew up. If you're a dick, I don't want to have anything to do with you.
Yeah.
If you're a good person, let's hang out. Yeah. Right. That's what we were all about. That's what I'm still about. I tell people, I'm like, hey, if you're cool, I'll hang out with you all day. If you're a dick, I don't want nothing to do with you. Right. I don't like assholes. Right.
Pretty much.
But that's why I say, that's some of my dream splatter. Right. That if somebody comes stomping into my dream puddle, they're going to get a little bit on them. Mm-hmm. Right. And they're either going to be like, son of a, you ruined my new shoes, or they're going to be like, that's interesting. Right. And that's what I love about, I don't know what my dream is, bro. I really don't. Right. But I keep running after it. And right now I've got a life that I don't have to retire from, or am I rich beyond means? I'm blessed to have good people around me, a beautiful wife, beautiful kids, a couple nice dogs, right? I've got more creature comforts than most people.
Snake that occasionally comes up your
come up on your
motorcycle.
bike, right? Just to keep you honest, bring it back to reality. Let's see. It's not about the destination, but about the journey. Our dream may not be all that we think it would be. Yeah, I agree. And if you're Deke, I want to have something to do with you. Oh, thanks, brother. Wet. I don't. I can't. That's why we did the show on look at someone's intentions. They may not see it like you or want what you do, but do they intend harm? No, then stop being offended. Exactly.
Yes.
I
love that.
And we talked a lot about it on the grounds. We had Matt Barafato, the Purpose Hunter, on, and do you know your purpose in life? Yeah. And a lot of people don't, right? Do you know your dream? And it kind of ties hand in hand and goes hand in hand. But to me, if I can be humbled enough, like Chappelle said, if I can be humbled enough to realize I'm in your dream, just part of it, that's cool to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool to me, right? If that's what they say. Everybody knows your start date and your end date. No, it's that dash in between you that people want to tell stories about, look at, and do things. To me, my great grandchildren, they'll be able to watch this show. Oh, look at this! Who's that to my guy?
Yeah,
right. Oh, he's passionate. And so. If the internet's still around, I don't know. I'm just saying.
It'll be downloaded through satellite.
Right. So that to me, that's the cool thing, and that's why I say, my dream splatter, is if I'm chasing after my dream and I'm doing everything I can, and you get a little bit of that splatter on you, or I get a little bit of your splatter on me, then life's good. Right.
Yeah.
Because it's like, man, I knew the mom back when. I mean, Casual Pitts.
I remember. Yeah.
Right. We knew him before he was Forbes Entrepreneur of the Year. He's on the cover of Forbes magazine. Never in my life that I was like, hey, I can just pick up the phone and text a dude who's on the cover of Forbes magazine.
Yep.
So there's a lot of cool things in life that God's handed me. Because I've been on this crazy journey of trying to find my way through the jungle, and I'm blessed, right?
Yeah.
Has it been easy? No. Is it the definition of success that I would have thought when I was 22? No, not even close, right? Or when I was 25 and my son was born, or when I was 27 and my daughter was born.
Mm-hmm.
Or when or when I was 40 and my last kid was born. It changes all the time. But I don't know if the dream has, because I just keep going after it and keep going after it and keep going after it. And when you realize what that is, and like I said, mine is to create a life I don't have to run from or retire from, and help as many people as I can along the way achieve their dream or be satisfied in their dream.
Yeah.
Then I can rest easy when my time is done. It's crazy. Look, it's an hour's up already. Incredible stuff. One more time. If you are in the McHenry area, the bridge is now open. Kids in Need of McHenry County Children and Family Resources created this incredible store. You can't shoplift because everything is free. Listen to what I'm saying. Free. You can't shoplift. Because the only way you shoplift is to give them money, I guess. I don't know. It'd be the reverse. Right? So the Bridge is a free children's clothing store located at 4410 Route 176, kind of behind the Walgreens there at 176 and 30 in Crystal Lake. They supply clothes, hygiene products, bedding, diapers, socks, and much, much more. Toys galore for children in need in our community. What they need are always updated on the website, but they accept new and gently used clothing, new and gently used shoes, new toys, and new toiletry items, but please don't use slightly used toiletry items.
Please don't.
To find out the current needs, just scan this QR code. Let me get it close again. So if you scan that, it'll take you right to them, or go to KIN, that's KIN as in Nancy, MC.org. Incredible stuff that they're doing at the bridge. How cool is that people got together and said, we know that there are people out there struggling.
Yep.
And instead of, having to even pay for used clothes, here's an absolutely 100% free store for kids.
Nice.
Amazing. No questions asked. That you pull up in your Mercedes, they're not going to ask questions, right? No questions asked. You just come in and you got a child's birthday, they've got games, they've got new games, they've got stuffed animals, they've got you name it for any kid. And if you want to make a difference, check out the QR code, because that the bridge and kids in need are putting kids on a pedestal so that they can go out and achieve their dreams. You want a Dreamquest? Be part of it, which is good.
That's awesome.
Yep. Hey, listen, come back. Atlanta's on vacation. Nothing today. I am not sure if there is a idea climbing at 1, but Friday is a big day as always. We've got it is going to be Good Friday, but we do have the grounds. We've got the bridge, innovative strategies, Digital Boss Boardroom, and In the Know with Steph and Joe. Great stuff. Thank you again to our friends over at Natural Therapy Wellness Center. Check them out at www.mchenrymassage.com, and Jen and team over at JH Events and Flowers. 2 locations, one here in Crystal Lake, and one over in McHenry and Fox Lake. Sorry. And Gary, thank you so much. What's the time now on your end? We are at about 9:05 a.m. here Central Time. 10:05 on the East Coast, my friend. For all of us here at 216 Creator Studios, we can't thank you enough for joining us and hanging out with us. If you've got any ideas, you need a show, anything of that nature, let us know. But until then, we are two
bald guys and a microphone.
And Coach Papa is not here, but he does approve that message.